I didn't just lend him money. I pulled him out of the grave, paid for every dollar of his rehab, held his shaking hands through withdrawal, covered his rent, his food, even his cell phone. And now he's trying to take the one thing I have left, my home. I'm not going to let him. Not again. My name is Rachel. I'm 56, and for most of my life, I've been the one everyone turned to when things went wrong. Maybe it's the big sister instinct, or maybe I just never learned how to stop giving. My little brother, Danny, was my soft spot. From the time he was born, I treated him like my own child. We lost our mom early, and Dad was never the same after. So I raised him, cooked his meals, helped with homework, held his hand when he had nightmares. And even when we grew up, I still felt like I had to protect him, especially after the drugs took over. It started small. Weed, then pills. Then, one Christmas, he didn't show up. I found out later he was in jail for possession. He said it was a mistake. He swore it would never happen again. It did, again and again and again. I watched him turn into a stranger, hollow-eyed, thin, angry. He'd steal small things, Dad's watch, my credit card. Every time, he'd cry and apologize, and every time, I believed him. I know what you're thinking. Why didn't I just cut him off? Because I couldn't. Because I saw flashes of the old Danny. The little boy who used to draw me pictures. The teenager who called me Ray because he said I lit up the house. So when he called me, sobbing from the floor of some dingy halfway house in Fresno, I didn't think. I wired him $5,000 and said, "Come home." I emptied half my savings. I found a rehab program that actually had results. I drove him there myself, packed his bags, kissed his forehead like Mom used to do. And for a while it worked. He got clean. He started smiling again. He helped me fix up the garden, even built a little greenhouse out back. I started to breathe again. I thought, maybe this time it's real. He moved into my guest room, said he needed time to get back on his feet. I believed him, but something shifted, slowly. He started asking questions about the house, about the deed, about whether I had a will. At first, I laughed it off. "You trying to plan my funeral already?" I joked. He didn't laugh. Then one day, I came home and found my desk drawers open, papers scattered. He said he was looking for stamps. I wanted to believe that. I really did. But then I got a call from my mortgage company, asking if I had recently applied for a home equity loan. I hadn't. My stomach dropped. When I confronted Danny, he looked me dead in the eyes and said, "I thought you'd understand. I needed the money." No apology, no shame, just that. That was the moment I realized he didn't see me as his sister anymore. He saw me as a bank, and banks can be robbed. I wanted to scream. I wanted to shake him. But mostly, I wanted to cry. Instead, I said nothing. I walked back to my room, closed the door, and started thinking. This wasn't the boy I raised. This wasn't the man who cried in my arms. This was someone else, someone who'd trade trust for dollars and call it survival. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed, listening to the floor creak under his footsteps, wondering if he was going through my things again. The next morning, I took action. I called a lawyer, a friend of mine, Janine, who owed me a favor. I told her everything. She was quiet for a moment, then said, "Rach, you need to protect yourself, legally, immediately." She helped me draft a cease and desist letter, just in case Danny tried anything again. She also advised I install cameras. If he forges anything, if he tries to enter financial information, you need proof. I went to Home Depot that afternoon and bought 2 discrete indoor cameras, installed one in the hallway near my study and another in the living room facing the safe. I didn't tell Danny, but I did change all my passwords, moved my important files, and locked my personal documents in a metal firebox I buried in the shed under the potting soil. Paranoia? Maybe. But you only need to be betrayed once to realize how fast things can fall apart. The next few days were quiet. Too quiet. Danny didn't ask for money. He didn't mention the house. He even cooked dinner one night. Lasagna, his favorite. But I saw it, the way his eyes darted toward the study when he thought I wasn't looking, the way he lingered by the mail. Then I saw something that broke me. I was reviewing footage one evening, mostly just to calm my nerves, when I saw him going through my drawer. Again, pulling out a stack of checks, taking a photo with his phone. I paused the video, zoomed in. He was holding my signature page. That's when I stopped being afraid. That's when I got angry. I didn't raise him to be this. I didn't sacrifice everything to be treated like an obstacle. He wanted to take my home? Fine. Let's see how he handles losing his. I waited until breakfast. Danny came into the kitchen like nothing was wrong, whistling, toasting bread, humming some 80s rock song. I sat at the table with my coffee, hands folded. "Sit," I said. He froze. That whistle died in his throat. He looked at me, then smiled that fake smile he used when he knew he was in trouble as a kid. "What's up, Ray?" I slid the printed screenshots across the table. His face went pale. The air changed. "You went through my things again," I said, calm, measured. "You photographed my checks. You tried to forge my name. Rachel, I don't lie." He didn't speak. I leaned in. "I paid for your rehab. I brought you back when everyone else gave up. I fed you, sheltered you, loved you." Still, he said nothing. "You have 20 minutes to pack and leave," I said. "If you're not gone by then, I call the cops." His voice cracked. "You'd really do that? After everything?" "Exactly," because of everything. He tried guilt. He tried tears. He even tried blaming me. Said I pushed him by never trusting him, by treating him like a child. I didn't flinch. He slammed the door so hard, the picture frame in the hall fell. I didn't pick it up. For a moment, I thought it was over. But with Danny, it's never over. It started 2 weeks later. First, a call from my credit union. Someone had tried to access my account with my mother's maiden name, which wasn't publicly listed. Then, I got a letter from a sketchy lender saying I had been pre-approved for a second mortgage. I hadn't applied. And then the worst. The police showed up at my door with a welfare check. I created a folder on my desktop. I labeled it Danny Insurance. Inside it, screenshots, recordings, emails, credit reports, printouts from background check websites. I became a detective. The first thing I did was order a full credit pull on my own history. Several soft pulls had been made from addresses I didn't recognize. I traced them, all within a 2-mile radius of a motel on 18th Street, the same place where Danny crashed with friends after I kicked him out. Next, I started contacting people. Remember Janine, my lawyer friend? She introduced me to a private investigator named Malcolm. He was quiet, mid-60s, with a voice like gravel and eyes like glass. I told him everything. 3 days later, he called me. "Rachel," he said, "you're not the first. Danny had done it before. 3 towns, 2 women, 1 elderly landlord. Always the same story. Gain sympathy, get access, then drain them dry. He'd used fake names, told one woman he had cancer to borrow money, told another he'd been abused by me, said I stole his inheritance. That one really hurt. But Malcolm got proof. Voice memos, bank transactions. One woman even had a restraining order filed. I printed every page, put it in a black binder. I wasn't sure what I'd do with it yet, but it felt like armor. Meanwhile, I tightened my own defenses, froze my credit, switched my bank, set up 2-factor authentication on everything. Gave my neighbor a copy of the security footage in case anything happened. It happened at 3:17 a.m. I was asleep when the motion detector pinged. My phone lit up with a live feed. Someone was on my porch, hooded, gloves, trying the door. I didn't panic. I didn't even get up. I pressed the button to activate the floodlights and shouted through the speaker, "Danny, step away. The police are on their way." He froze like a deer in headlights. Then he ran. I had already filed a trespassing warning weeks before, just in case. When the police arrived, I handed them everything. The footage, the binder, the letters, the recordings. They found him a few blocks away, hiding behind a dumpster. That night, I didn't sleep, but it wasn't from fear. It was something else, something heavier. Grief. Not for me, for who he used to be. The court process was brutal, but straightforward. I pressed charges. He pled not guilty, tried to spin it like I was framing him out of old family resentment. The binder tore that lie apart. So did the testimony of 2 other women who agreed to speak. One was 67. He'd stolen $8,000 from her retirement fund. The judge issued a restraining order. He got probation, mandatory counseling, and a criminal record. He hasn't contacted me since. Sometimes I walk past the guest room and remember him laughing, building that little greenhouse. Sometimes I wonder if there's still a part of him that could have been saved. But I remind myself, I did try. I gave him every chance. He chose the path, and I chose mine. My garden is still blooming. My house is quiet. My doors are locked.